nice.
And
What's going on?
Go ahead.
Uh,
Sorry.
what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of East versus West, the only channel give you your dose of both coasts. I'm your host, Anthony.
I'm Eddie. Sorry, I got caught up in that
Eddie's just
only channel, and it's the only channel or only podcast with you and I. Okay,
yeah,
so
it's one of a
that
kind.
one of a kind.
Started a couple years ago, man. They can't take that away from us.
No, these
No one
guys
can
can't.
take that from us. I'm gonna trademark and copyright this fucking name right now.
Hell yeah.
It's ours.
And the dose of both coasts. We
I'm
gotta
putting
we gotta
I'm
trademark
putting
that.
your fucking name on the co-signing of this fucking trademark and copyright. That way anyone tries to steal, we both get money from it. This is our brainstorm of an idea, man.
Yeah, it was
Before
cool.
we venture into today's topic, which we did have one set topic, but then over the weekend a new speculation map came out, so we're going to talk a little bit about the changes to that as well. But before we get in, we just launched yesterday some new East versus West merchandise. Um, a nice, beautiful T-shirt with a new logo done by my cousin Andrew, who's been on the channel many times, host of the Personal Paradigm podcast on Spotify. Go listen now. And a great graphic design artist, great music person. He's also got some new music out on SoundCloud as well. Super Drew, SOOPER Drew, um, DE or DREW, and yeah, he does a lot of our graphics for the channel. He does a lot of our logos, Shoot the Shit, Mindless Or Podcast, and then he just did the East versus West logo, which came out really good. And so we launched T-shirts. There's T-shirts, hoodies, women's T-shirts, tank tops, long sleeve T-shirts, stickers. So go check that out right now. The link for the merch site is in the bio. We have been wanting to launch a T-shirt for some time now, and
Yep.
I know right now is a difficult time for a lot of people financially. So that's why I'm kind of holding back on a lot of T-shirt ideas I have, but this one, I think we just had to get out there just because we wanted to, when everybody is either financially back on track or just, wants to buy it now to get their kind of hopes up and they can rep their favorite and only East and West Coast
Yeah. And
series.
we have a lot of time on our hands right now, so
Yeah.
it's a good opportunity for us to kind of work out the kinks on any ideas that we have. In addition to that, I'd like to add the fact that on East versus West, we don't just talk Halloween Horror Nights. As of recent, that's what we talk about. But if it's your first time tuning in to listen to us, make sure that you come back, go back through some of our old episodes as well. Halloween Horror Nights isn't the only thing that we focus on. It is the majority of what we focus on during certain seasons, but we look at other events that are on both East and West, or compare similar events like Knott's and Busch Gardens during the year. So something to look forward to, and we'll keep on trying to change. We're always open to suggestions, so leave it down in the comments as well.
I think a good way too to expand it as well is if you want to do a theme park edition of it to throw on your channel, since your channel covers everything.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to expand the show as well.
Yep.
So if you guys are into that, or if you guys want to see that, let us know in the comments, and we will do that. We still got to do our Knott's Busch Gardens one, which will probably be actually next week. So
Yep.
that will be another East versus West episode planned 3 weeks in a row.
Let's do it.
That's a new record for us. Today we're going to talk about a new speculation map that was put out by HN Nightmares, who put out the first one. A lot of people have been covering his maps lately because it has been said that he tends to get a lot of speculations right. No one knows how, no one knows why, but it's good for people who like speculation season and people who potentially want to see what's coming at the event this year to get a lot of people excited. So full on warning before we continue. Just like the last one, we don't condone the leaking. We don't condone the, all spoilers and stuff. We're just passing down the news as to what we see on social media and what is sent to us via group chats and stuff like that. So we're just covering what these new maps say. There's not much really to cover, at least on the West Coast. There's more to cover on the East Coast this week, but we just want to get the news out there as to possible speculations coming to the event. And yeah, Just so if any of these are potentially right, full blown spoiler alert for the event. If you guys don't want to see any spoilers to this event, click off the video now. But if you guys are still in, let's go. All right, Eddie, go ahead and start on the East Coast. What we have new, because I know they took out a couple of properties, and we kind of speculated that last episode because our good friend, um, one of our good friends, one of our good YouTubers, one of our good YouTube friends actually was telling us that two IPs were gonna get uh, taken out because Warner Brothers, and we talked a little bit about that.
Yep. So those two properties are Sabrina and or the what is it? The Magical
The
Adventures of
Chilling
Sabrina,
Adventures of Sabrina.
Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and Gremlins. Which out of those two, I'm really sad to see Gremlins go. But Sabrina was a hit or miss for me. I wasn't really critiquing it too much. I haven't watched the show, so I wasn't giving too much feedback on or an opinion on it.
I guess that's one less show we have to watch now, right?
Right? Yeah, yeah. But on top of that, one thing that we'll get into a little bit more is the fact that I believe Beetlejuice is also Warner Brothers, or I'm 99.9% sure that Beetlejuice is Warner Brothers as well. But
Beetlejuice
we had
is
a
Warner Brothers, but I think they got a special contract with Universal.
yeah, because he's always at the Orlando
Parks. Yeah.
parks all the time, even out of haunt season. But we had a few other changes. One of the big ones is the fact that on our speculation map now, Billie Eilish no longer has her own house. Now it's Universal Monsters, The Bride, music by Billie Eilish. And then we have a new original called Pumpkins. And last but not least, the Legendary Truth, Carrie Ohio, which I thought was really funny. A lot of people were doing videos and calling it Carrie O.
Carrie O. I know. I saw that TLEV. I'm like, I guess we're the only ones that actually got it right because
Yeah,
you actually know your stuff.
I know. I was like, Carrie O, that's hilarious. But now it's just the Legendary Truth. So Carrie Ohio has been removed from the title. And those are the things that have changed for the Orlando speculation map now that we have the version 2.
Yeah.
How about on the West Coast?
West Coast, so they took out Gremlins and Sabrina, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which we kind of already speculated that that was going to happen because usually with Warner Brothers, they are kind of stingy with their properties, especially when they do events like Horror Made Here, which is rumored to come back this year. So I can see maybe them incorporating stuff in that nature as far as Gremlins and Chilling Adventures of Sabrina at their event, if not as Maze's marketing purposes for merchandise and stuff. So. Um,
Let me add something there. So I was pondering this, and I came to a conclusion as to why Warner Brothers does this. So in some or in some cases, they actually do work with us, and they work
mhm.
with Universal Studios, and it's a success. But isn't it a smart idea that they start negotiations to the point where speculation maps start to leak from information that's been given, and then they pull it out because basically those universal speculation maps now create some expectations for us, and then it gets pulled, and they're like, oh, well, we're gonna have it at Horror Made Here, so we're like, oh, damn, it's not gonna be at Halloween Horror Nights, but I was really looking forward to it. I guess I'll have to go to Horror Made Here.
Yeah, it's a smart business proposition. However, yeah, and it's funny that you bring that up because I think the one year they were gonna do The Conjuring at Universal, the Conjuring
Mm-hmm.
universe, like they brought it to Horror Made Here, which was a whole Conjuring universe maze.
Yeah,
Same thing with it. It's one speculation that I keep seeing year after year. And another thing, they when they were gonna do it that one year because of the new movie, they brought it to Horror Made Here. And
exactly.
I think like the only ones that have been kind of at both events would be Freddy and Jason. Um, because I think New Line owns the rights to those characters.
Yeah.
But so the properties right there are up in the air. But um, and then of course the Exorcist. But however, that's been at both events as well when they did the Exorcist in Hollywood, and I believe they did it in Orlando, right?
Yeah, they did in Orlando.
Yeah, so they did the Exorcist in both coasts, and then the following year at Horror Made Here, they did a forbidden kind of screen of the Exorcist where they showed like the scariest parts inside of like a church setting, and like there was actors around like like priests and nuns and stuff to kind of give you that creepy vibe. And every now and
Yeah,
then Reagan would pop up. Sadly, there's really no footage of that on YouTube, I think, because they didn't really want anyone filming in there. Which I really wish they would have put something out on YouTube because it was such a good performance. I mean, like you're sitting in pews and you're watching some of the scariest parts of The Exorcist inside of a church, which is already a scary feeling as it is, you know? I mean, you have a demonic movie inside of a church, which is already unsettling as it is. And as the movie's progressing, like you see statues in the church, like eyes turn red,
yeah,
they start glowing. And then what was really funny is when I would look around at like nuns and like the priest and all that, like the nun, like the pew I was sitting at, like they would lean over to my cousin and kind of look down at them, and my cousin would look back and he'd get scared,
that's
which I thought
crazy.
was hilarious. So they really got into this whole vibe of that. And then every like when it really started progressing and stuff started getting out of control and chaotic in the church, Reagan actually would pop out of like the main stand or something, or she would come out of like a corner or something. Like it'd be an actual actress dressed as Reagan, full makeup and everything, no prosthetics or no masks or anything. It was all makeup, which looked really cool. Um,
But long
but
story short, this is free marketing for them.
yeah, free marketing pretty much. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they may be the ones behind some of these speculation leaks.
I know, right? They may be the leakers themselves, so that'd be funny. But basically, we got a secret IP and original. So, um, you want to start on your end, and then we'll go to mine.
Did you have a Jordan Peele original too
Yeah, we've
on
had
the
that in the
earlier
first one.
speculation? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, sure. Yeah, we'll start on my end. Let me just open it back up. Um, I guess the first thing that I would go for is let's touch on the fact that Billie Eilish no longer has a house, and I'm not sure if Universal Creative is actually listening because there was a lot of backlash to her potentially getting her own house at Halloween Horror Nights. You guys are still getting it,
Yeah.
which I'm not sure how accurate that is or how accurate our map is. But now it's been changed to Universal Monsters: The Bride music by Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
Um, no longer a full maze for her. Now, if this ends up being the case, I think this is a little bit of them listening as well as still using the Billie Eilish name, because I know the Billie Eilish name is gonna bring fans to the event. Maybe
Yeah.
not the fans that we want there, but fans nonetheless, which means profit.
Yeah.
But if this ends up being the case, then I really think they're only using her for her name, and we may end up getting Universal Monsters: The Bride with Billie Eilish just covering original Universal Monster music. So she won't even come up, or maybe they'll say, she came up with her own score for the event, but at the end of the day, it's really just like covers of originals with her
Yeah.
twist.
Yeah.
Um, and with that being said, the Lagoon Show is still there, which is still an opportunity for them to further use her name, because in this case, this diminishes her presence at the event a lot. I think
Hmm.
Universal Monsters: The Bride with music by Billie Eilish completely diminishes her presence. So it would be kind of a bad move for them to just use her in such a minuscule level. The Lagoon Show would be a perfect opportunity to use her status properly.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think about that?
I don't. So when we were talking about this prior to going on the air, I don't know how I feel about Billie Eilish music in a Universal Monsters maze, only because so many years we've gotten Slash over here in Hollywood, and that continues to still be speculated for this year as well. I just feel like they're kind of giving you guys a kind of a bad setting for that. You know, I mean, it's always cool. No, regardless, the maze design and everything probably will still be really cool. I mean, it's a Universal Monsters maze, so you really can't mess that up. You know, I mean, you tell this story of a monster and you kind of reimagine it into a more of a darker horror story, which I think is really cool. But to add music by Billie Eilish, I don't know, man. I think she is a fantastic person, and her personality looks like she'd be a really cool person to hang around with. I'm not a fan of her music, and that's just because the music I listen to is like Iron Maiden, like heavy metal, punk, I listen to kind of like that kind of type music. So like it would go if it would go the same way if you saw another famous pop star come to Horror Nights, and I just think it like that's just how I would feel just
Yeah.
because of my music taste.
They,
Um,
they
but
have
as far as
Universal Monsters the Bride music by Drake.
oh God, that'd be even worse. That'd be even fucking worse, man. Um, but I don't know how I would feel about this Billie Eilish thing. I'm on the same boat with you. I think it would be nothing but covers of famous like she would probably take some of the famous scores or something, really remix them and maybe add lyrics to them. Um, or it would just be covers of monster songs they've made throughout the years of the different monsters. Figure is known for doing that as well. I mean, Figure is probably a staple at Horror Nights Hollywood, and he's known for releasing albums and stuff that are uh, kind of surrounding the monsters. I mean, if you go on Spotify right now, you can look up his albums, and a lot of them are entitled like Frankenstein, The Mummy, but they're all dubstep mixes of different like quotes and stuff from the movie as well as some of the songs that you hear. But I don't know. It I hope this just really if this is coming to the event this year, I hope that it blows me away. I really do. I hope
Yeah.
that I'm wrong about everything I'm saying, and I hope that it blows me away because I just right now I'm just like I said, Billie Eilish, she's probably a super sweet person, a super cool person. I mean, she's a huge Office fan, so that really gives her points in my book because I love The Office as well. Um, but I've never had an interest in her music, and that's not against her. She's probably a really talented artist. I mean, it surely proves it because she won 5 Grammys. But I mean, I've just never been a fan of that kind of music, so I can't
Yeah.
really say too much about it other than the one song I know, which is Bad Guy.
Yeah. All right. Well, to kind of wrap that up, I think if they end up doing or allowing her to do covers and some remixes and then giving her the Lagoon show as well would be an extremely effective use of the name
Hmm.
without her overpowering the event with her presence.
Yeah.
Allowing still somebody else to get that a property or a house into Halloween Horror Nights, which is really what my hesitation was with her getting a house. The fact
Yeah.
that she got a house meant somebody else or another IP was not going to get a house that potentially could have. In this case, we still kind of get her name. We still kind of get that same effect of we're able to use her for marketing purposes,
Yeah.
and we still get another house, which leads us to the house that looks like it replaced her, which is Pumpkin, the original.
Yeah. I mean, to go back to Billie Eilish one last time before we go on to the pumpkin one. Um, what's further been proving that she might be coming to the event too is like I think like in 2018 is when she first like really came out of the scene. Um, or 2019, I don't remember, but Murdy tweeted like he liked her music and it'd be interesting to ever do something with that. And also, not to mention, I think last year she went to the event and that's how usually people meet. I mean, that's how Slash met with Murdy, going to the event, and then he the next year created his own original maze, which was Clowns.
Yeah.
Um, so that's usually how it all starts. They go to
Yep.
the event, if they find out they're fans of them, and then Murdy will probably talk with them, and they'll probably start discussing minor details or ideas that they have, and then as the event ends and as it starts progressing into the new year and the new season, they'll start going more and more and talking about it. So that's just kind of further proof that she might come.
Yeah, and apparently she tried to like do scare acting as well, or
Yeah.
she wanted to.
Yeah.
Uh,
So there
but
you go.
yeah,
Pumpkins.
Pumpkins original. No idea what this is, but I can only imagine it may be an extension of Pumpkin Guts, which was, or I'm not sure if it was Pumpkin Guts, but there was a scare zone that kind of in the same kind of trajectory as like Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
It was a scare zone, and now it's going to be a house. I
Was
don't
it
remember it
was it
too
in
well.
Carrie O?
It actually was in Cario. So
For those of you,
it
by the
is
way, for those of you who are pronouncing it Carrie O, it's actually Carrie comma Ohio. OH is
Yeah,
short for Ohio. So
yeah, it's funny, but yeah, it's in Carrio. But yeah, I don't know too much about it as an original. It could be something completely different, but I think the pumpkin guts or something of that nature was a scare zone, so this could be a derivative of that.
awesome. I think that would be interesting. I'm always a fan of original, and I will say this: Orlando never fails on originals, so
Yeah,
they always
we
knock it out of the park with originals. So
yeah, we
let
do
them.
pretty well with originals, which leads us into the next change, which is now Legendary Truth is no longer in Carrio. Uh,
That's just gonna be the ongoing joke now.
yeah,
Carrio.
right. But it's just the Legendary Truth or Legendary Truth, which I don't see that as changing the possibility of there still being some Cary Ohio um, kind of
Eggs
Easter
maybe.
eggs in there
Yeah.
somewhere. But now it's no longer the initial focus as the Legendary Truth and Cary Ohio coming together,
Hmm.
which I thought was a really good idea. Actually, once we talked about this on the last podcast, I was like, "Damn, this makes so much sense given that it's the 30th year anniversary."
We're
But
finally give it its story, and we're gonna finally get a background of what this place was. And I was getting pumped for it, and I've never even
yeah,
seen it till like that last episode we filmed, and I was like never even heard of it, and now I'm not as excited.
yeah, and we get to visit Cary, Ohio. That is, the lore of Halloween Horror
Which could
Nights.
have been a really good opportunity to bring back a lot of past scare zones or references to past things as well, being that a lot of their universe takes place in Cary, Ohio, and it could have been a cool like throwback to like the last 30 years of Horror Nights. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, as we're talking about this, it kind of gives me an idea of the next thing. But before we go into the next thing, I just want to name the houses that are staying the same as far as the speculation map.
Go for it.
So what we have still the same is Beetlejuice, Bedtime Stories, Terra Cruentis, which I found out that Terra Cruentis is actually the like scare zone where the Terror Queen ruled over.
Okay.
Um, Dungeon of Terra, which is the first Halloween or the first house to come to Fright Nights, which was Fright Nights before it was Fright Nights before it was Halloween Horror Nights the second
Yeah.
year, and then the Haunting of Hill House, which I think I've heard others say it as well. The general consensus, has at least from what I've noticed, maybe I'm being biased, is that the Haunting of Hill House is something everybody actually really, really
No,
wants.
I've been hearing a lot of the same thing too from a lot of YouTubers. So I'm kind of glad that they didn't leave the speculation map because I've been since that came out. Like me and Sammy have been talking about that being a property at Universal. It'd be so perfect.
Yeah, dude, like I said on the last podcast, it would be too easy to make this house amazing given the content that it gives us.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's still on here, I'm extremely excited about that. If they're listening to the feedback that the community is saying, and I'm right about the general consensus, then that should be something that is solidified for
Yeah.
this year's event.
I think the
Um,
two hype mazes I have right now, if we can go off that for a little bit, is Haunting a Hill House and Beetlejuice.
Yeah, yeah, I think there's a lot behind Beetlejuice as well, just because they both make a lot of sense. The Haunting of Hill House, just because of the content that it gives us, and then Beetlejuice because of his history with the event. The fact that he has been at Halloween Horror Nights, he has had a show at Universal Studios that was kind of horror related.
And he's
In
funny, dude. Like
yeah,
Ghostbusters work, so I think Beetlejuice will work definitely.
exactly, and I could see that train of thought working out. Beetlejuice or Ghostbusters worked out last year. Beetlejuice would be perfect and takes it a step further into the horror genre.
Exactly.
But that being said, those are the houses that remain on the speculation map now that we have version 2.0. And something new that has been added is an unknown original. Going off of the fact that they changed the title of the Legendary Truth, I literally just thought about this right now. Maybe Cary, Ohio is getting its own original.
I hope so, man. Because I mean, Legendary Truth with Carrie
Or
Ohio would have been cool
Carry
from
up,
what I
carry.
Carrie O, yeah. Legendary Truth with Carrie Ohio would have been amazing because what you told me about the whole lore of Legendary Truth and what it is, the interactivity of that, which would have been really cool. Um, However, if Carrie Ohio is still gonna get its own, if it's potentially gonna get a property or its own original house at the event, that furthers it not only focusing on the Legendary Truth genre of its own, but Carry Ohio itself can focus on its own, and um, we can get more of even more backstory as to what this is. Like I said, it would be really cool to walk through Cary, Ohio, and you just see um, a lot of references and throwbacks to the last 30 years of Horror Nights out in Orlando.
Yeah. Yeah, I think an original based on Cary, Ohio can just have it could be a town with a bunch of instead of having Cary, Ohio Easter eggs, now we have Easter eggs of the prior years just
Yeah,
hidden through there. Maybe we see a Sam sitting somewhere around there.
yeah.
We see one of the pumpkins from Pumpkin Guts. We see a vampire from I forget that one. There was that one
Bam
scare zone.
85.
Yeah, Vamp 85.
Yeah,
So things of that nature. So it would be kind of a reverse Easter egg. Now
I
the
love
the Easter egg has become the center focus with everything else becoming an Easter egg.
exactly.
Um,
I'm gonna
man,
throw
this
another speculation out there, if I may, too, for an
go ahead.
original IP or an original house. And I'm gonna go on a limb here and say Jack the Clown, because he's one of Halloween Horror Nights' most famous mascots.
Yes, and noticeably missing from this whole entire speculation map is a lot of focus around some of the original um, what's it called? I was gonna say mascots, but now I'm blanking
Icons.
out. Icons, yeah, the
Yeah.
icon years. The only thing that's on here is bedtime stories and Terra Cruentus, and I doubt that the storyteller and the Terror Queen are really the main icons that
Yeah.
people love. We all know Jack is huge.
Yeah,
There's no
Jack,
way,
every time he comes back, dude, people love it.
yeah, there's no way that the storyteller and the Terror Queen get a spot in this event over Jack. That would be
Yeah.
crazy. So
Not to
yeah,
mention Jack's hosted the event probably more than all of them combined.
that's a good point. That's a good point. This could be an opportunity for them to add a Jack original house. But the fact that just the simple fact that some of the main icons, I would say the main icons, the storyteller is one of them, but I don't think she would be the top. I think the top three would probably be the director. Well, it would be Jack in this particular order.
Yeah.
Jack, the caretaker, and the director. And
Yeah.
then you would have the usher, and then maybe the storyteller. But the top three, I would they would have to come back for the 30th anniversary before the Terror Queen and the storyteller. So who knows? Maybe they host the event together.
That'd be dope.
That'd be crazy.
Got the
So we get
director. You got the
yeah, the
director filming the
director, the
caretaker Jack like
caretaker, and
torturing
Jack.
people.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that would be crazy. Or the big named icons get their own scare zones.
Yeah.
But that I think that would be a waste of their names.
Yeah.
Uh,
Or they can bring back I don't know if you remember a few years ago, a while back, Jack the Clown actually had his own torture show where
yeah.
he would take a bunch of teens and like torture them, which I thought was cool. They could
Yep.
bring, if they even brought something like that back, I would love it.
Yep. Yeah. Some of the things that but that was also a less it was a different time and day
Hmm.
of the event. There everybody wasn't so PC.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to see something like that.
But
But
they probably won't because of the time
yeah,
change. So,
yep. So who knows? We'll see what that unknown original ends up being. And
yeah.
then the last new addition to our speculation map over here in Orlando is a secret IP, which also opens up the door for a ton more speculation.
Let's just
the,
be real. It's gonna be a Blumhouse property.
that's what they're saying, a Blumhouse property. But Blumhouse was noticeably absent last year, so uh,
Yeah.
I
Uh,
I don't know
I
why
mean,
everybody thinks Blumhouse wasn't there
yes
last
and
year, and
no, because I think Jason Blum may have helped produce Us. I
mm,
think.
I,
Let me double check on that.
yeah, I don't know enough to say whether or not that's true or not. I'm just gonna call you a liar, but
Thank you.
no, but yeah, last year there was a lot of speculation around a Blumhouse property. It didn't show up in any speculation maps, but all the YouTubers were speculating it, and it was noticeably absent. And I think you and I on one of the East versus West last year actually talked about that. The fact that um, Blumhouse was noticeably absent at the event.
Yeah.
So
It's
for
like
them
the
to come
first year
back, I
they were
don't.
really kind of absent from the
Yeah,
whole.
and I know that that Halloween Horror Nights has a good relationship with
Yep.
Blumhouse,
Jason
but
Blum. Jason Blum produced us.
okay. I know that Halloween Horror Nights has a good relationship with Blumhouse and Jason Blum, but at the same time, they have probably a better relationship with Netflix. More lucrative.
Blumhouse is easier for them to get to though because they already own the damn company, Universal. So that's a lot easier for them to maintain rights to than Netflix. But it depends on the Netflix property though, because some Netflix property are produced by Universal. So that
Yeah.
way it'd be a little bit easier to get access to compared to what Stranger Things was.
But if you look at this lineup, one thing I would say is The Haunting of Hill House for me and you and a lot of like hardcore fans is going to be our anchor.
Yeah.
But for the general public, there's noticeably missing an anchor house, like a Stranger Things. So that
If
secret
they
IP, I think, would have to be bigger than just your average Blumhouse property. I would love it to be Halloween 2018. That'd be dope. Um,
again, a Blumhouse property.
yeah, that's a Blumhouse property. And Michael Myers, I believe, has been at the event for a while, like every 2 years.
Well,
So
Murdy also did say the reason why he was absent last year was because he wanted to take a break and not have to continue to bring him back every single year, which for a lot of diehard fans, a lot of people would just love to see Michael Myers in a new maze. Like I know
yeah,
I definitely would. Even if
you
the
know me.
movies weren't nearly as good, I mean like the later ones like from like 4 through 6, like I would still love to see it in maze form because there's still a lot of cool kills that they can
Yeah,
recreate in those movies.
and you know me, I have a terrible bias towards Michael Myers.
Yeah.
So he could be at every single event. But if we look at the history of Halloween Horror Nights, Michael Myers has a deep rooted history with the event. So
Oh yeah.
the 30th year anniversary would make sense to bring him back as well. And the fact that he comes back every 2 years to the event makes sense as well.
Well, I think if
Um,
they're gonna really, if I think Halloween Kills comes out this year, right?
it does, given no further pushbacks, because a bunch of movies have been pushed back for the release dates given to
Yeah,
the
I think
current
they
movie.
already finished filming Halloween Kills though. They might be in post production already because I remember this around this time last year. And again, the circumstances are different right now, but around this time last year, I remember Jason Blum was already watching like early cuts of the film because they were still cutting it down, and he had already watched it like 5 times within March.
Yeah, I think you're right. The movie has been filmed,
Yeah,
um, but I think now just the current state of things is what's going to dictate the release date of certain things. Because I think like also there's some Disney movies like Pocahontas and things like that that are done,
yeah.
but the release date
Mulan
has
was
still
supposed to
been.
be released
Yeah,
already.
that's
It,
what I
it's
meant.
got
That's
pushed
what I
back.
meant. Mulan. I said
Black
Pocahontas.
Widow, which I'm very pissed off about, was supposed to be released in I think next month, and it's pushed back now till
Yeah, and they're
November.
all done. They're all
Yeah, they're all
done.
done. Yeah.
But they may get released on Disney Plus. But
Fast and Furious is supposed to be released next, or it was supposed to be released this month, and now it's not being released till next year.
yeah, so that may be the same thing with Halloween.
Halloween Kills.
Yeah. So who knows? But that last secret IP could be a lot of things. There's a lot of things that would make sense. Um, but at the same time, looking at the grand scheme of things, I feel like we're missing a true anchor house for the general public.
I would say Halloween is our best bet, being that if Halloween Kills is on track and everything's good for it to come out this year, I would say let's go with Halloween, just because it would not only make a good marketing strategy for Halloween Kills, which I know a lot of people are going to go to theaters to see because Michael Myers is just a huge household name.
Yep.
Um, it would not only do that, but it would bring fans more to the event, not only to hype themselves for the movie, but just to a lot of fans are just generally have been in love for Michael Myers for like the last 40 years.
Yeah, and it was the highest grossing horror movie in history, wasn't it?
I think so,
I
or yeah, it
believe
made a
so.
ton of money. Like on the budget, it had. I think it had like a really low budget too. I mean, compared to most movies these days. But
Yeah, it
that's the thing
went
about
over like
Blumhouse.
200 million or something like that, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the thing about Blumhouse. They're really smart as far as business tactic goes, and it goes back to me reading this article that everybody looks at Marvel like, oh, this big company that's making a ton of money and stuff, but it's like, well, look at Blumhouse, dude. They make really low budget horror films for like really low budget and everything, and they make a shit ton of money back, whether it sucks or not. They're financially profitable.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Halloween on this one. I think it's got the most highest chance of coming to the event to hype up the new movie. It's a good marketing platform for the new movie as well. It's like, go see Halloween Kills and then go to Horror Nights to visit the maze. Like, that's a great marketing platform. Or even if you're at Halloween Horror Nights, and depending where in Hollywood at least, depending where they set it at, if it's going to be in the back lot and stuff, it's a good opportunity to actually, they do this thing in the back lot where they have projectors up on screens. And while you're waiting in line, you can watch like Crypt TV and a bunch of other stuff. It'd be a good marketing platform to show the trailer for Halloween Kills if it's out by then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just to kind of go back, I just did a quick search, and it says that yeah, Halloween 2018 was the highest grossing horror movie in history with $255.5 million.
Damn, I just stubbed my toe on my fucking desk. That's why I made like a face real quick. I was like, oh. All right. So that wrap up for East Coast?
Yep, that's all for the East Coast.
All right, let's jump into the West Coast. Now, mazes that we still have coming to the event. All Hallows Evil is still speculated. Walking Dead full day attraction is confirmed. Haunting a Hill House still speculated. Jordan Peele's original still speculated. The Universal Monsters The Bride music by Slash still speculated. Beetlejuice still speculated, and Billie Eilish's own maze is still speculated.
Yep. And one update you may not have seen on here yourself is The Walking Dead is going to have more walkers, even more than the more that they've had before.
More zombies than ever?
More zombies than ever.
Dude, you know how many times they've told me that every year and I've been excited? Come on. More dead than ever.
Damn right.
Fuck yeah.
The line's gonna be dead as well.
And you want to know how much you want to know how much walkers they really add in that thing? Literally a photo op of 2 other walkers outside the damn maze.
Damn right. That's terrible.
Yep. But anyway, so we got a secret IP and an original that's been changed for Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and Gremlins. So the original on the map is speculated to be in the back of the Mummy Queue, which is usually where a lot of big name mazes go. So I'm very, very excited to see if that original is going to be in the back of the Mummy Queue, what it's going to be. Speculations for that, it's kind of hard to tell with originals over here in Hollywood because we really don't have any properties that we've done in the past that they can bring back unless it's a scare zone. And what I'm going to speculate right now for this original is, since it was another huge hit at the event last year, scare zone wise, I'm going to speculate Spirits and Demons of the East, which was a Japanese like Asian culture related scare zone, and it brought a lot of these like statues and like these insane creatures over. One of the most notable ones, if you've seen it, is a 4-legged stilt walker with this like weird open mouth face, which was terrifying. So if they can do an original maze based around that, I would be genuinely happy about that, because that was a very good scare zone, and I would love to see the history of how those things became cursed and how they got transported to the US and how they became the people who they are, or the creatures that they are. So that is going to be my biggest speculation for the original maze. As far as secret IP goes, I'm going to go the same with how I speculated for Orlando. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a Blumhouse property of some sort. I'm going to go heavily based on Halloween right now. Like I said, with the whole marketing of Halloween Kills, if it's on track to come out this year still, it'd be a perfect way to really promote that movie big time. And Murdy said he wants to do all years of Halloween, so that's just another year that he can put on his belt if they do another Halloween maze based around the 2018 film. Another maze I'm going to speculate for that secret IP is going to be The Invisible Man, being that was also a very huge hit so far this year, which kind of sucks because it had a very limited theater release due to the coronavirus. But nonetheless, it was still a huge success. People have been watching it, renting it, and the people that have seen it have really enjoyed it, and I've been hearing nothing but good feedback on it. And it's got really good reviews on movie review websites and stuff. So
yeah,
those are my 2 speculations.
I watched it from home, And yeah, that movie was completely different than what I thought it would be in a great way. And
Yeah.
that one scene when she's talking to her sister at the
Oh,
restaurant,
don't go too far in that one in
I
case no one
know,
has seen it, but the
I'm not gonna
spoilers, but I know
spoil it.
which one you're talking about.
That one scene was ridiculous.
I remember
Ridiculous.
TLEV did a live stream of that movie, and I remember I had already seen it, and I think the only one in that group that's seen it was Mr. E. And I remember in the live chat I put, "Oh, the dinner scene. You guys aren't even ready for this one." And then they're like, "No, no spoilers." I'm like, "I'm not gonna spoil it, but you guys aren't ready."
Yeah,
And
that
when that
that was
happened, I remember in the
great.
theater, I remember looking at Samuel like, "Did that just fucking happen?
Yeah, that
Oh my god!"
and the thought process behind it, why
Yeah,
it was done that way, I was just like, yeah, that's sinister on the highest level.
yeah. No, he tortured her in that movie, dude. Which I
Yeah,
think it was a very good psychological horror film in that
hell
way.
yeah, hell yeah. No, that movie ended up being a lot better than I thought, and it's funny because when I first was watching it, we were having sound issues, so we didn't notice up till like 20 minutes in, or not 20 minutes in, when she gets to the car. I'm not gonna say why she gets to the
From the
car.
very beginning.
Yeah, when she
Yeah,
gets to the car, we started noticing that like the lips were moving, but the sound wasn't coming out
it's
properly.
delayed, huh?
But we got that far.
Yeah, that's good.
But
Um,
yeah. Oh, I
yeah.
also hear you guys are getting a potential IP, Jabberwocky's house.
No, no, that's horrible.
They're
Take
gonna
that
be
bullshit away.
breakdancing, and they're gonna be like, you just got served, and then they disappear, and you're
Well,
gonna be like, oh,
I actually did hear a speculation that I might be heading to Orlando. So
oh, screw you. It's gonna be
he
like
was actually invested into it for a second.
no, it's gonna be like you know that one episode of South Park where they had You Got Served, and he was like Stan's dad gets hospitalized, and he's like, oh yeah, your father got served here, here, here.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the Jabberwocky's house. They're
Yep.
just gonna serve you.
Yep. I think the ongoing joke me and Sammy have too is like Jabberwocky's ends contract with Halloween Horror Nights, but since the Not Scary Farm doesn't have the hanging no more, they signed a new contract to go to Knott's. So I'd be like, no, that's my backyard event. Go somewhere
Yeah.
else.
No, hopefully not. It's crazy that they're still there, but yeah. I mean the IPs that you're speculating for, I think that spot is gonna very easily be at both events.
Yeah.
So whatever it ends up being, you and I are probably gonna get the same thing. Um, I think last year we had like an even share of the same like houses and same amount of originals, if I
Yeah,
remember correctly.
we did. Um, yeah, just about. I think you guys had, I think one or two more, maybe one more. Mason, I think you guys had 10, right?
Yeah, we had 10,
Yeah, so I think we had 9. So we had one less, and that's just due to the space of our area.
but you guys had 2 more walkers.
Yeah, 2 more walkers, man. Just in the photo op section. So, and I actually took a photo there, so I have
There you
that
go.
photo. You
See?
go. It's still a cool photo op to do. I mean, it's Walking Dead, you know. I mean, if you're a fan of the early era of Walking Dead, I mean, it's still cool.
I know, but you guys have had that consistently at your event for so long now.
It's already there. They might as well just like, oh yeah, open the doors. It's good.
Yeah, right. I
I mean,
guess.
you have people who only go probably once a year, and that's just for Horror Nights, and that's like an opportunity for them to walk through it.
Yeah, no, I get that much. It's just um, when it comes to a repeat house at an event, it just that style doesn't scream Halloween Horror Nights, and it's kind of something that's overlooked constantly with that one property. But when I go to like Busch Gardens, that's how Busch Gardens runs their event. It's the same properties every single year.
That's how Knott's is. I mean, what they do though is like only, and we'll get into this next week. But I mean, what they do is they really will they'll make minor tweaks to scene changes or something for the maze, and every like couple years they bring in new mazes. So this year we're gonna get 2 new mazes. Last year we got 2 new mazes, and especially with Knott's, they're going off a storyline which is gonna really tie everything in for the 50th anniversary, which is coming up in a couple years. So I think that's their goal, is to change everything in the event to kind of tie into that lore of what's going on at Not Scary Farm as of last year.
Yeah, we're a little bit off track, but
Yeah,
hats off to Knott's 50 years. That's crazy.
I know. Coming the originals, man. They're the OGs. If you want to talk about OGs of Haunt, they are the ones that started that shit.
Yep. Yep. So Anything else that changed for the West Coast?
That's just about it, man. I mean, just the one IP and the one original. So yeah, that's gonna probably do it right now for East versus West until we get any more news on a new speculation map. Stuff's always changing with Universal, especially when we get later into the season. Um, you know, they either can't get rights to stuff, so they have to pull out their plan B, and they have to change and tweak some stuff around, either for the better or just because they couldn't get their hands on something. But nonetheless, we'll see how the event goes. We won't know anything's official until the Universal team on both ends announce their announcements, which at this point, I don't even know when that's going to happen. We should have gotten one or two already. So,
Yep.
and that hasn't happened yet. But when that does happen, tune into East versus West. We'll talk about it, especially if it's covering both parks. This is the only show that does that.
Yeah, only.
Only.
Show that covers both East and West. The
People
best.
we're talking about, you know who we're talking about. You know who you are.
You know. But to kind of conclude everything, given what going off of what I said in the beginning, if this is your first time tuning in, make sure to subscribe to the Knights of Horror, subscribe to Edutainment. The Knights of Horror does a lot of great things with my co-host here, Anthony being the lead behind it, and then Edutainment. I do an assortment of different things. I don't just do horror, but that's probably the main focus. Make sure to subscribe to both of us, as well as follow the podcast. Halloween Horror Nights, although it is our focus, isn't the only thing that we do. So make sure to go back and see the history. This is what, the 17th episode, you said?
17th or 16th, I believe.
Somewhere around there. So we've put out a good amount of episodes, and they're not just all Halloween Horror Nights, even though that is the main focus. We've done some Busch Gardens and Not Scary Farm. And we'll probably start adding some additional stuff. So comment down below.
This is episode 18. We're almost to 20.
18. There we go. So comment down in the comments below if there's any suggestions that you would like to make. We definitely take that into consideration for our next videos. We have a couple things already in line, and we're probably going to break a record with 3 weeks back to back.
Yeah. I think for episode 20, we need to get on some guests for kind of a milestone.
Yeah, maybe we bring one of those.
We bring all the other copycatters on.
bring like a Losh or somebody, or you know who I would really like to have on here, Zombie Chris, since he was recently on SoCal Exploring, and we've tried to get him on here a few times. Yeah. So Zombie Chris, if you're listening, man, we've tried to get you on here before. We know now that you have the capability of getting on here, so we'd love to have you on.
Yeah. We gotta work out a time that works best for you, man. I know you're still essential working, and we appreciate that. So all you essential frontliners, whether you'd be in the medical field, the law enforcement field, firefighters,
grocery stores, man,
grocery stores, fast food restaurants, all you essential workers that are still out there working, I want to give an extended thank you to you guys, because without you guys, life wouldn't be going on the way it is right now. And we really appreciate you guys stepping out in the front lines and keeping communities going and keeping us, what we need to pick up what we need, or hospital visits, or if we need to make 911 calls of any sort. We really appreciate all you guys doing that. I know times are tough right now, but just hang in there, guys. Hopefully we'll get back to normal soon. We just got to do our part in quarantining, if that's a word, quarantining. Just got to do our part in quarantine, and remember, stay quarantined to save Halloween, man.
Yep.
Because we want to
hashtag save haunt season.
Save haunt season, man. So, all right. One last thing to wrap this up. Of course, we have new East versus West merch on the website. Links in the bio. Check it out. T-shirts, hoodies, tank tops, women's T-shirts, long sleeves T-shirts, and even stickers. If you want to go by and support East versus West, please do so. We really would truly appreciate that. I think I'm gonna get my shirt pretty soon, so
then that means I'm gonna have to get my shirt.
We can wear it on the podcast and promote it even more.
Damn right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching another episode of East vs. West. Tune in next week for another episode, and we will see you guys soon.
Deuces.